What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. This is a video I should have made a long time ago because it's now almost March, and this is a movie involving December or 2022 in general. Um, Here's some movies I missed in 2022 that I finally got to watch, and I want to review them because there's some movies I want to do my thoughts on, especially because I was excited to watch them. Obviously, the first one I already have an official review up with Damien Zeke already, which is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which I gave an A plus, and I still am with that grade because it's such a good movie and I loved it. Everything about the movie, fantastic. We're gonna redo my top 10 of the year here in this list. This is not the last time this movie's gonna be mentioned. Just gonna say, Babylon is a movie I also really wanted to see. The performance in this movie are absolutely killer. They got robbed that they didn't even get nominations. Brad Pitt, this is one of his best roles I've ever seen him in, ever. Margot Robbie, this is one of her best performances I've ever seen her in, ever. Okay, so with that said, also there's a whole like half an hour. This is a 3 hour long movie, and because of that, there's it drags a little bit, and because of that, you gotta lower it down a little bit. There's some stuff that I don't like, and you can immediately tell what kind of movie this is gonna be and how crazy it is within the 3 minute mark in this movie. And it just gets crazier from there. But then, there's like the last hour of this movie, I absolutely love. I was worried. I'm always excited to see Tobey Maguire in movies because he's not in that many. Yes, he was in No Way Home, and he was fantastic in that role. He always just seems to do a good job. But when you see his glimpse in the trailer for this movie, I was worried that they were going to make him annoying and that he was going to be annoying. And then you're like, well, I don't want to see Tobey Maguire like this, so let's move on. He had the best part of this movie. He was amazing. I mean, literally probably like 5 minutes that he's on screen. I mean, I'm gonna watch that section of this movie for time and time to come because he's so entertaining in that little spot. Ethan Suplee makes a cameo in this movie. You can't tell me that's not amazing. Okay? If you don't know, that's Randy from My Name Is Earl. Which I'm so glad that he's had like a progression of getting up and up and up since My Name Is Earl. Like he no longer has weight problems, dude. That man is buff now. I mean, it's a whole thing. But Babylon is a B plus because of that last hour. I thought the last hour was fantastic. The performance in the movie were fantastic. They are robbed that they didn't even get nominations. Okay, The Whale is a movie I finally got to see. I just actually watched it last night as of recording this video. And, yes, there's obviously elements that I disagree with on a personal level. But I always mention that I try to, go into a movie getting rid of those, like, expectations and stuff. Because you when you're watching a movie, you're trying to, get out of the real world and get into this world that they're trying to put you in. And that's what The Whale does correctly. And Brendan, this is how he said to do it in an interview. Brendan Fraser is fantastic. Okay, this is best role. I mean, literally ever. I mean, I've never seen him give a performance quite like this, and can't say. Yes, he always gives somewhat of a performance. My favorite movie that he's actually in, that's actually better than. I know this is an unpopular opinion, but a movie called Blast from the Past. That movie's great. Okay, I don't care what the critics say about it. I don't care if Christopher Walken's cheesy as all get out, which he is. Brendan Fraser in that movie just makes it. Go watch Blast from the Past. But The Whale, because of Brendan Fraser, is held together. Also, I'm sorry, I do not know her name, but the Asian lady in the movie, she also gives a performance that they did a nomination, and I, I'm glad. Okay, there was a few scenes where she was like, all the performance in this movie. This is a very performance-wide movie. I mean, there's even people where you don't even see. You only see them for like a split second in the movie, but you already feel that they have character. Okay? That's how well written in this movie is. Anyway, because of that, and, the story as a whole, I couldn't buy as a complete whole, but I still give the movie a B. because it is pleasantly enjoyable and it's worth watching because of Brendan Fraser. I'm gonna call him Fraser just because it feels normal. Sorry. Alright, finally, The Menu. I watched this movie so long ago, but since then I've watched it like 3 more times because this movie is fantastic. Once again, Ray Fiennes got robbed for not even getting a nomination. He is fantastic in this movie. And I'm sure you've heard other people say that galore. He is fantastic in this movie, okay? So is John Leguizamo is fantastic in this movie. Everybody in this movie does a really good job for what they're given. Yes, it's a very small movie, and it's on a very small scale. But I'm glad that it is because it takes place in a very small setting for most of the movie. And the ending of this movie I love, okay? It's somewhat unexpected, and it's done great. I love the story of this whole... I can't express how good the performances and the story and the script and how good this movie is, and because of that, and it gets an A+ from me. Okay? Now, onto the list for redoing my top 10 of the year. I feel like yes, I'm working on it in a paper because I want to get this correct. I feel like the list of honorable mentions could go on forever. But yes, I got the ones from last time. No, I'm not going to put the pictures in for the honorable mentions this time, but I will put the pictures in for the numbers. Violent Night, Bullet Train, nope. Lost City, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, The Unbreakable Weight of Massive Talent, Weird Al, and Scream. Those were all movies that I thought were good, but they didn't quite make my list. Yes, a couple of them did previously. My list has changed a good amount. Okay, at number 10 of 2022, Elvis. I felt like I still needed to put this movie on my list. I enjoyed this movie a lot more than other people. Tom Hanks aside, this is not his performance. He does not do good in the movie. His accent is annoying. You completely get rid of him. Austin Butler does nothing but eat the scenery up with every line that he says. And you feel every emotion that he has. And because of that, he holds this whole movie together. And if he does not win this Oscar, this is my Oscar pick. Over Brendan Fraser. It's one of those two. Yes, Colin Farrell does well. That's another movie I saw, which is The Banshees of Inisherin. That's a movie for another time. But Austin Butler holds this movie together as a whole to make it one of my favorite movies of the year at number 10. Number 9. This might actually come as a surprise, but because of the last hour of the movie, Babylon at number 9 makes this list. Yes, I'm just as surprised as you because I did not think while watching the movie because of the critics went ape on this movie. I mean, they tore it apart. I mean, limb to limb. I mean, it has a 54%, and part of that is because the director of this movie has directed some of the best movies of all time. One of my favorites being Whiplash. That was my top 10 of all time. No, this movie doesn't by no means live up to that. But because of the last hour in this movie, of which I love so much, and the guy who plays Manny is so good, and he did not get a nomination, that I am angry about it. Yes, Babylon deserves the number 9 slot. Number 8 is The Menu. As I just showed and talked about, this movie gave an A+ review. Yet, there's still movies I thought were better. Yet, it still makes number 8 on my list because of how much I loved it. Ray Fiennes, bro. I mean, for real. Ray Fiennes, as a whole, holds this movie together. And I love it. Number 7 is The Batman, which was also previously on my list. Yes, this movie did move down a notch technically, but it's still just as good and is the best comic book movie that we got in 2022. does not even touch Thor: Love and Thunder. No offense, I think Taika Waititi is a great director. He fell off the deep end with Thor: Love and Thunder. That's it. Number 6, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. I thought everything about this movie was fantastic. The animation in this movie almost makes it seem real. It drags you into this world with all the colors and how bright and great this movie is. And you feel every emotion, and don't even get me started about the villain. The villain in this movie, easily one of the best of all time. Yes, the name is cheesy, and that is literally my only complaint with the movie is his name, Death. Okay? Other than that, he is awesome as a villain as a whole. When they do the flashback sequences where his life is flashing before my eyes, that is so creative. I've never seen anything like it. And that's why I got an A+, and that's why it's at number 6 on my list. Number 5 is still Hustle. I love this movie. I think this is Adam Sandler's one of his best performances. Yes, I do think that Uncut Gems, he has a better performance, but I do think this is a better movie than Uncut Gems. I don't mind Uncut Gems. This is just a better movie. With that said, it's at number 5. Go watch it on Netflix. I don't even know what you're waiting for. I'm not even a sports person, but it drags you in. And within the 5-minute mark, you're like, I gotta finish this movie. That's it. And number 4, The Fabelmans. I've already expressed my love multiple times with this movie and how it relates to me, and that Steven Spielberg and how great of a director he is. That's why I got nominated for Best Picture, and that's why it's at number 4 on this list, and that's why I gave it an A+. What more do I need to say? Number 3, Avatar: The Way of Water. Visually stunning. I did watch it for the second time. Did it drag a little bit? Absolutely. But you're still dragged into this universe, and you don't leave for 3 hours and some? You don't leave, and you feel like you can grab up and touch everything, even in 2D. That's how good this movie is. Okay, James Cameron should win Best Director in my opinion because of how hard he worked on this movie. Number 2, Glass Onion. I've already expressed my love multiple times. I've seen this movie again. It is just as good. It does not drag at all in my opinion. And of course, number 1, Top Gun Maverick. And if this movie, I really hope it wins. No, I can almost guarantee that it might not, because there's other movies that the critics love a lot more, like Everything Everywhere All at Once and The Banshees of Inisherin, both movies of which I've seen, but they're a discussion for another time. Anyway, thank you guys all for watching this movie. This is my renewed list. Hope you like it. Then again, it's just my list. You may 100% disagree with me. That's great, and I'm glad that there can be diversity in the movie business. And go check out Babylon, which is my newest film on this list, I think. Go check it out. It's a good movie. Anyway, peace out. Like and subscribe.